Welcome everybody to the Iceman's Return YouTube channel. And this is a video that I do, not quite all that often, but every now and then I do this. And first off, I want to give some shout outs out there to Josh, Inside Wrestling Truth, Matt, WWE 9v1, whom is my nephew, his friend, his best friend here on YouTube, Aaron Loves WWE and TNA, Shane Roy, and Killer O'Demons 669 Peter Gilmore, a very good friend of mine as well. These guys really go out of their way to do their videos and to try to please everybody here on YouTube as I do myself. And the last two, but not least, Andre Corbeil and Big Ray Hernandez. Andre and Ray do the Can-Am Wrestling Show, and kudos to what they do here on YouTube. And one more I want to throw in: the Big Show, Bill Schuyler. Really, in this video, I just like to every now and then, thank a bunch of people, who on a daily basis, watch the Iceman's videos and whatnot. I do try, it's almost 40 years that I've been watching wrestling, and I get a kick out of it sometimes where, you make a video and you get a comment from somebody saying, well, you must not know too much about wrestling. Well, I've been watching it for 40 years, and it's sort of funny. Since I've been watching it, there's 3 people from my day one of watching wrestling that are still involved in wrestling. I mean, prominently more than others. 1 is Vince McMahon. 2 is Hulk Hogan. 3 is Ric Flair. There are other guys, that do, backstage work, and I'm talking about guys like Tony Garea, Arn Anderson, and there's a ton of other people, don't get me wrong. But these are the 3 guys that are most prominently known today in the world of professional wrestling that were around back when I first started watching wrestling. And throughout the years, wrestling has had its ups and downs. It's had its good times. It's had its bad times. We see promotions come. We see promotions go. And a lot has changed in 40 years, and as well it should. We saw the NWA, a great wrestling promotion by the Crockett's. We saw the AWA, the Gagne promotion. We saw the WCCW, Fritz von Erich, his promotion. We've seen a lot come. We've seen a lot go. We've seen a lot of good times and bad times, as I've said. I've seen a lot of great superstars live. I've watched a lot of great superstars. I've watched pretty much, since pay-per-view was, developed, I should say, in the middle 80s. I remember watching Starrcade 83, closed circuit. And then I remember from the very first WrestleMania, I've seen them all. I remember when there was the 4, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. I remember when they first started. I remember when WCW had their 4 main pay-per-views. I've seen it all. And like I said, throughout the good times and the bad times, we've seen a lot of things go on in the world of professional wrestling. We saw the 90s, where when WCW started Nitro on a Monday night at 8 o'clock, where it just about, not too long after it began, started taking over the ratings on Monday night. when we had Raw's War. And we saw a very young Eric Bischoff, who was originally in the AWA, come to WCW, as like a reporter, no less. And the night he was slammed through the stage floor by Kevin Nash changed the world. And that changed the wrestling world in general. And we saw a lot of, like I said, we saw a lot of great things. We saw the Attitude Era in the WWE, Stone Cold Austin, The Rock, the big feud with Vince McMahon and Stone Cold. I mean, was epic. It was classic. I don't think there's ever been a feud like that, and I don't think there'll ever be another feud like that ever again. So we saw a lot of things, just progress in the world of professional wrestling. And like I said, there's been the good times and there've been the bad times. And, there's been a lot of bad times with, a death of a wrestler. I can't name them all because there are so many that have passed away. But some of the prominent names was Brian Pillman, Kurt Hennig, Chris Benoit in a sad state of affairs. Eddie Guerrero just clings to me, to my heart, because I've watched Eddie from day one, and Eddie Guerrero was a great entertainer. Eddie Guerrero was a great wrestler. He was a great in-ring technician. And the day I heard that Eddie died, part of my heart dropped out. And as time moved on, you come to realize that these things are realistic in the world of professional wrestling. And did they have to happen? Probably not. Is there anyone to blame? Basically, you can only blame the wrestler themselves. They chose to do what they did. If there was any pressure from the outside, they had the right to say no. They could have walked away. Again, in those big times, those big days, money was a huge object. There was a lot of money flowing around, and it was hard to say no. But still, you can't blame nobody else but the wrestlers themselves that decided to maybe inject themselves with steroids and whatnot. So like I said, I've been through the good times. I've been through the bad times. I've watched Ric Flair in tremendous matches. Back in the day, I think Ric Flair was one of the best wrestlers ever. And then started watching more of the WWF. I just got hooked on Bret Hart. Bret Hart, to me, was one of the greatest technical wrestlers in the ring. And it wasn't until he left, after the Montreal so-called screw job, that things sort of changed in my eyes with Bret Hart. Everybody can say it was a screw job. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But my way of thinking is, if you're employed by a promotion and they want you to do something, you do it, regardless. That's just how it is. They pay you. And this is how I feel about a lot of the John Cena haters that badmouth John because he always comes out. He's the Super Cena. They claim he don't put nobody over. He's put a lot of people over. Believe me, he has. But you got to understand. John is doing a job that he's told to do, that he gets paid for. Wrestling definitely has changed. And I honestly think there's a lack of viewership in the world of professional wrestling. And I think it's amongst a lot of us older people. I think because we've been so fixated on the past and how great it was, our expectations are a lot higher for the present day wrestling. And, times have changed. It may never get that way again. And I've learned to accept it. But I am a critique on the world of professional wrestling. I will give you my opinions. If I like the show, I like it. If I dislike it, I dislike it. I talk about TNA. When TNA is doing poorly, I'm right out there. I'm one of the first people to say so. Right now, I think they're doing a great show, and so I praise them. I think right now the TNA show is better than the WWE product, and nothing against the WWE product, but I think right now they're in a little bit of a disarray because of the absence of Daniel Bryan, CM Punk being gone. But this is where it's time to utilize those other guys, bring back Dolph Ziggler to the main event, maybe start pushing Sandow once again. You have some other stars you can push. You got Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose, who I think all three at one point in time will be a champion, a big champion in the WWE. What do I think about part-time players? Well, in 2013, when The Rock came back and beat CM Punk, I was really disgusted because you have a champion that's there for 434 days. And the only reason why The Rock beat Punk was for John Cena to win the Rumble to face Rock at WrestleMania to get his redemption. Now, to me, if I were the WWE, I could have overlooked that redemption for another year. I would have let CM Punk hold the belt till WrestleMania and finally give John Cena a major win over CM Punk for the WWE Championship for the main event. And I think this would have been a much bigger draw than The Rock and John Cena was. But the WWE, knowing that The Rock is a big box office draw, thought otherwise. And I guess, they have a right to their own opinion, just like I do and everybody else does. So I just wanted to put all this out there. I'm here. I try to, educate and relate to a lot of people out here on YouTube. There's a lot of great YouTubers out there. I have a lot of great followers and subscribers. The Alan Orrs of the world. Captain Morgan on Facebook. Shay Kemp. I can't name everybody. It's unfortunate, but I appreciate everything that everybody has done as far as watching the videos and subscribing to the channel, going to the Iceman's Wrestling Extreme Facebook page. I'm happy with that, and all in all, I'm really here just to thank everybody for what you've done for me. And, I'm going to probably slow down a little bit because I've been plugging away for a little bit of time. And I need to slow it down a bit. But anyway, I want to thank everybody. I appreciate everything that everybody's done for the Iceman. And the Iceman, just applauds everybody just for the simple fact that, you're there when we need you. And like I said, when you get these remarks about somebody saying to you, well, you must not watch wrestling too often. Well, I watch wrestling for almost 40 years. I could blow you over in a heartbeat as far as wrestling information goes. So anyway, peace out, everybody. Have yourself a great Monday. Monday Night Raw tonight. Will Lesnar be on? Will Cena be on? They need to have a confrontation. It is the go-home show for SummerSlam. And I'm going to tell you something. Most of me thinks that Lesnar is going to take out John Cena at SummerSlam, but there still is a part of me that John Cena will win. One only knows. We have to watch it on this coming Sunday to find out. Peace out, people.